Thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and bring the Tuesday, December 18th, 2018 Warrenton Board of Alderman meeting into session. Please rise with us, and as we say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next item on the agenda will be the introduction of Neil Fick as the Director of Planning and Development.
Mayor and Board, I introduce to you Neil Fick. He is our new Director of Planning and Development. You can see that. He started with us yesterday, and his salary is $65 a year.
All right, excellent.
Welcome.
Board.
Welcome, Neil.
Next item would be the consent agenda.
We have the regular meeting minutes from December 4th, 2018.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Shell Harvey, seconded by Alderman Costello. Roll call vote.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz is absent. Alderman Shell Harvey,
Yes.
Alderman Costello,
Yes.
Alderman Ock,
Yes.
Alderman Miller.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent. Next, we'll be hearing from the public. We ask that you, if you have something you'd like to say, come to the podium, state your name. We'll give you 5 minutes to speak. Not seeing anyone, we'll move on. Next will be the Board of Alderman comments.
Yeah, I have a couple things I shared with Terry before. I've had a number of people who are, what did the lady say at the podium, senior, or I don't know what she called us. Anyway, it mentioned to me how much they appreciate the pool and that they have health conditions and their doctor says exercise, that they can go up there and use the river to walk in. And so I think we need to continually encourage people to use that because there's times blocked out for seniors that are specifically for that. And I think the word needs to keep getting out that this is something we did with intent and they should really take advantage of that. And I think that's something pretty special. The other thing that somebody talked to me about is then a suggestion on the dog park that we kind of segregated off between larger and smaller dogs. The idea being larger dogs like toys, and sometimes the toys is a smaller dog. So they had a couple suggestions that we could do, and I think we'd like to encourage, as the park develops over the next year or so, that if there's citizen input on what they think we should do or they have ideas, we need to encourage that so we can really have it become the park that people want and people use. So I'm just make those points to people who are listening or watch this on TV, that should be something they should feel really comfortable doing. Making those suggestions.
I, in fact, had comment from a couple that were close to our age.
Well said, Gary.
Right? I wasn't one yesterday.
No, you weren't.
Anyway, they attend out there on a pretty regular basis, and they dearly love the pool. They join and go at different times, and they thanked us, or thanked me to thank you guys for getting the project done. Thank those guys.
Yep.
And
It's interesting that you talk about the seniors. Dana's been pulling together some information, the statistics on the pool, which we'll be bringing a report to you in the future. I looked briefly at it, and what stood out to me was the number of memberships by seniors in those senior categories, be it resident or non-resident, exceed the number of memberships for the others.
Wow.
So absolutely the seniors are using it. Now we'll probably see that change, as the holidays are over and more people have the ability to do it. But absolutely, as of right now, the seniors by far are more memberships than other categories.
Very encouraging, I think.
one of the comments I'd like to make. This past weekend, I was part of the, I think it's called Wreaths Across America, It's a program that they have to put wreaths at Christmas time on all the veterans' graves. And I know they had, I didn't make the ceremony at the Veterans Memorial, but I was at Holy Rosary Cemetery when they had it. And I would like to put a shout out to Andrea Romaker for a job well done. And this year they started small, like I said, just covering a couple of the smaller cemeteries. But I know her main drive this next year will be to do it at Warrenton City Cemetery too, which would be a lot more wreaths. And it really is awesome because after we got them all placed, even at the Holy Rosary Cemetery, you looked down the hill and you saw all those wreaths, and it was really, really cool, really nice. So I think that's another thing we need this coming year. We occasionally remind the people, and as it gets closer to the holidays, to help fund the wreaths, enough of the wreaths to cover Warrenton City Cemetery. So, but again, I'd just like to give a shout out to the American Legion Post and the VFW Post participated in the presenting of the colors and playing taps. It was really a good ceremony. So,
yeah, to add to that, Mike, the Wreaths Across America is a national program, and Andrea has been encouraged and I believe has accepted to become a member of the Tribute to Veterans Memorial team for this upcoming year. And they were really excited. The new presiding commissioner was at our meeting last night, as was Bart Corman, who also are becoming members. So you're seeing some new blood come into that organization, which will keep it strong.
One of the interesting things I learned about the Wreaths Across America was it was started 27 years ago by a couple, and they just had planned on doing it the 1 year, and through public relations and just the other people finding out about it, it's just grown to where it's really become it's nationwide, and it's continued now for 27 years. So, like I say, this was the first time I think I've been exposed to it, but it's really an excellent program, I think.
And it does take a lot of volunteers.
Yes, it does.
So.
It does. So.
Mayor,
Thank you.
I want to make one other comment on, as we're approaching the end of the year, sometimes I like to think back of how things went for the year, and sometimes I think we need to realize even more what all we accomplished in 2018. Our staff with Terry and all the folks that are the workings to get these things done have done a remarkable job keeping things on track and finishing things that we set to do. And I am extremely proud to be a part of this board that when you look back and say, boy, Warrenton is really on the move, and I can't be more excited at what 2019 is going to bring.
Well, and I think we all have to double down on your comments about the people sitting out here. I mean, this wouldn't happen without their dedication, their effort, because it's been a great year, and it's a great year because of the work they do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, for all of us.
And Mayor, on that note, of all places, I was at a restaurant in Wright City having breakfast with a veterans group. The owner mentioned to me some issues he was having on his city sewer. Didn't know if it was his issue, city's issue. Want to Pershing Street. Came back, I said, give me the phone numbers you want me contacted, gave it to Terry. I presume she passed along to Guy, talked to him as late as this afternoon, and it's gonna require some repair on his own, but was quite pleased at how responsive the city was in getting back to him and identifying what the problem was. I only bring that up because all of us get complaints, concerns, comments, and I just couldn't get over how well it worked to take it right back where we should instead of trying to deal with it ourselves. I get the problem identified. In this case, as I said, it sounds like he's going to have to do some sewer repair himself, but getting back to him that quick, I think it was last Wednesday. I had breakfast down there and came back, like I said, called Terry, and I just called him today to follow up, and he was quite pleased. So.
One more comment, Greg, I don't know if you can comment on this, but could you give us an update on the monument at the tribute site? Is that still on schedule for after Christmas, or where we at?
It is supposedly December 27th. I actually have a picture of the stone completed and ready for shipping on my phone. I'll share with you folks after the meeting if you'd like. They are expecting it here to be here on the 27th. By flatbed, and the plan is that the crane will be here right after that, and they want no one on the premises. In fact, we will, have 4 volunteers, hard hats and yellow vest to keep the place totally closed down while they're up there doing their work. So. Hoping it's before the end of the year. It'd be a nice Christmas gift.
Yeah, it would.
Excellent. Any other comments?
Nope.
I'm going to keep mine short and sweet, and I think I can speak for most of the board to wish everybody happy holidays and a happy new year, because we will not see you until after the new year, since it falls on New Year's Day for the next meeting, and I think we have all agreed that we are not going to do it that day and going to enjoy the new year. So to everybody out there, once again, happy holidays and happy new year. What's that? Oh.
It's going to show up on TV. I'm just pointing it out.
What's that?
The jacket's going to show up on TV.
It says a statement of itself. I don't really have to say anything. It speaks for itself.
The lights.
And loudly.
Yeah.
With that, the boards and commission appointments, I'd like to, for the Boards of Adjustment, a 5-year term for reappointment of Jason Cullum. The Building Board, a 2-year term reappointment of Kurt Alger and John Luckmeyer. A Planning and Zoning, 4-year term reappointment of Michael Cooper and Eric Holt. And the Tourism Commission, a 3-year term of Jill Crump. I will entertain a motion for the mayor's appointments to the Board of Adjustment, Building Board, Planning and Zoning, and Tourism Commission as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Ock, second by Alderman Miller. Roll call vote.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Costello?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with 1 absent. Next, we'll hear from the City Administrator, Terry Thorne.
The only item I have for you this evening is to let you know that we have confirmed with the school. The joint meeting date will be February 28th, and that meeting will be held here at our City Hall this time, and it will start at 5:30. So mark your calendars.
28th?
28th of February.
And is it correct that the school board of superintendent has already announced that there will be a tax levy increase on the ballot?
I don't know if they've made a formal announcement of that or not.
I think it's on their website.
I think
I'm
they were
not aware
supposed to have
of
a
that
meeting the
is.
other night about it. I don't know if that, last time I talked to them,
back there.
they wasn't definite, but at that meeting they were supposed to, I don't know.
You said that's 28th?
Yes,
February
of
20th.
February.
All right,
5:30.
5:30.
That's all I have this evening.
Well, that's pretty quick.
I know I had a lot last time, so I tried to cut it down this time.
Well, next we'll hear from Director of Operations, Brandy Wolf.
Good evening. The first thing that I have is the monthly marketing and business support report. On there, we did have the ribbon cutting at Schnucks on November 7th. This is for November. We did have a ribbon cutting out there. They seem to be doing great. It's kind of slow right now on this side of things as far as people contacting us this time of year. So,
Any questions on that?
okay. The next thing that I have is the monthly admin report. On there, again, we went another month with no accidents, which is great. I wanted to let you guys know that we are already booking tournaments for next year. So we have a company that's booked, I believe, 5 weekends so far, so, which is great. Hopefully those will all turn out, providing the weather doesn't ruin that. Other than that, that's my report.
All right, any questions on that? Thank you, Brandy.
I have one more thing for you.
Sure.
Silver sneakers is a big topic for the seniors out of the pool. They're wanting us to become a silver sneakers location. I have been checking into that. I have resubmitted a new application for us to do that. This is the second one. I also contacted Warren County, the FIT program through them, because they are silver sneakers. She told me that it took them 2 to 3 years and submitting over and over the application in order to get it. So just so you guys know, I am working on it, but I think it's going to be a lengthy process.
Is Silver Sneakers a state or is it a federal issue?
Federal.
I believe it's federal because it's paid for by Medicare.
Is there one of our federal representatives who we may be able to contact to see if they could help expedite the process? I mean, that's their job is to do that. I think
Right.
it wouldn't hurt to contact somebody and say, here's the issue, and see if they could walk us through that at a quicker pace.
Sure, it definitely wouldn't hurt to contact them. I can check into that.
And their Congressman Lichtmar's pretty approachable.
Is he? Okay. I'll see if we can't do something to speed it up. 'Cause it seems like
I
that's
do
awfully long.
participate in the Silver Sneakers program, and it is very, very good program.
I have gotten several phone calls on it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from the Maintenance and Grounds Director, Brad Boozy-Cruz.
Good evening, Board and Mayor. You have my November report. Getting caught up on a lot of the maintenance and things of that sort that we need to do this time of year to get ready for spring cutting.
Taking a little
Questions?
break, are you?
Huh?
Are you getting everybody resting up a little bit?
Yeah. That and changing Christmas light bulbs.
Any other questions?
I have one other thing. I think you all have been getting some comments on Lakeview. A tree on Lakeview, it's been brought up. Melody, can you pull that up? This is the tree that everybody's calling about. It's on the corner. It's just before you turn to go across the bridge. It's actually about 20 feet off of our right-of-way on privately owned ground. Give me the next one, Melody, if you don't mind. This is the tree is actually still living. What it did, it was in the creek. The bank slid off. It went down into or just kind of laid over in the creek. It's in this tree. It's wedged up in there. It's been this way for, I know of, for 4 years. The homeowner says it's been this way for 10. And let me have the next picture here. And if you're coming down the street, you really don't even notice it. The only time you see it is when the leaves are off and people are, oh my God, the tree's leaning, it's gonna fall. I've had Ameren over there, I've had their tree people over there, I've had numerous other guys over there, and they said it's not gonna fall. It's in the thing. I've talked to, matter of fact, Guy and I just last week talked to the homeowner's son and said that he would, he said maybe this spring when it gets a little harder out or something, or if it freezes up, that they can get in there. He said he'll trim some of the limbs off, but at this time he just hasn't had any intention of cutting the tree down, because the tree's probably that big around. It's still living. So.
Is this on Liddy's property?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's right in the corner. It's right in the line, and there's it's actually coming more to an angle up the hill than across the road. So, but it is, the homeowner is aware of it. Like I say, it's on his ground. There's nothing we can do. I mean, it's not really posing a hazard. It just looks kind of bad when you come around the corner. And that's in, like I say, once the leaves are off, people usually start calling. All summer, nobody says anything. Summertime or wintertime, they start calling. So if you all get any calls on it, we are aware of it, been aware of it for, like I say, I've been aware of it for 4 years. So
I actually took a trip over and took a look at it because of all the uproar.
Yeah.
And I get the concern.
Yeah.
It is a younger tree it's leaning against, not a
Yeah.
it's not a huge tree that it's
Right.
caught in between, or what do they call that, a widow?
Yeah, it's in a web, but it's not.
The,
But like I say, Bob is going to get with his tree trimmer and take some of the limbs out of it, that are kind of hanging over.
I don't doubt that it's a living tree, but boy, it does look like that root system just, when it slid off, it came exposed.
Yeah, it just went right down into the bottom of the creek.
So I get where the alarm is coming from. It is what it is. I'm glad to hear he's going to trim it up. Maybe it'll cut some of the tension back
Yeah.
on the calls.
And
Mayor,
just-
I have a question for Brad. I think, Brad's looking. The lights that go on 47 out to past Dollar General,
Mhm.
sometimes one side's on, one side's off. Is that,
Just an eye. There's an eye on them. It's just done by how dark it is. They're on photo cells on those silver boxes at Banner. It depends on which one gets more light than the
Okay.
other one. That's why
somebody had asked me why
yeah.
one part was on, one was
Yeah,
off.
it's a photo cell, just like Main Street. You have 3 eyes on these. Some, you got different coming on different times.
Okay, thanks, Brad.
And also, kind of to add to Mike's with Andrea Romaker, I talked to her also. She is, I think, planning on being at the April meeting to start talking about this, because I was telling her, we've done it at the city cemetery for the last, we didn't do it last year, but we did it the last, I think, 4 years. We've done it up there through the American Legion when they were active. We did over 2 years ago, we did over 400, and I think I had to ask Mark, I think it was 415 veterans that we had marked off at then, and we've got more now. So, it takes a lot of wreaths to do it, and it's been a kind of a struggle to do it, but the American Legion always came through, and they put one on every grave out at our cemetery for the last, like I say, 4 years. I know that I knew when they started it.
You definitely need some fundraising, and you definitely need volunteers. I remember when they were doing it in Winsville, I think they were $9 to $12 a wreath.
Yeah, I think they're 15 now is what we
Yeah.
paid for them.
15 is what I think she said.
So it takes, that's $6,000 in wreaths
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah, because Mark and I and Wayne, all the staff went up there and marked the graves for all the veterans' farms, so they knew where to go instead of trying to hunt and go through it. We went up there on a Saturday and marked them out for them, so got it done.
Excellent. Any other questions? Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll hear from the Public Works Director, Guy Jeevers.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Get the monthly report. The sidewalk on South 47 is completed, so that's a straight shot. We got a little dirt work to do and some other things to do, but it is walkable.
And it looks good.
Yeah, it did come out nice.
I think it looks great.
We did some asphalt street repairs. We've been out replacing some street signs, no route signs been replaced, and put new ones up there. We had a 10-inch water meter that we installed going to Coke. We replaced it, so that was a big one. And we had a little water leak on Vashel. We had 4 sewer calls. 3 were on private, and 1 was on the city. No damage on that. And some sewer inspections, and I'm just trying to keep up with that there.
Any questions? All right.
That's all I have.
All right.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Scott. Next, we'll hear from the building commissioner, Mike Cross.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. You have my monthly report before you.
Questions on that? I think everything looks good. Everything looks like it's panned out real well throughout the year for me.
Yes, it has.
So Mike, do you, can you tell by the inquiries you're having, looks like 2019 is going to continue with a similar amount of construction requests?
From all indicators, I have gotten from actually a new contractor inquiring about another parcel of land here to develop. I believe we're going to have the same year as we had, maybe even a little bit better next year.
I like that. It's promising. All right. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll hear from Chief of Police Larry Alderman.
Good evening. I've got several items for you tonight. The first, I have my monthly report attached. Do you have any questions?
Any questions on the police report?
Second item would be approval to purchase 2 2019 Dodge Charger patrol vehicles. Our request would be that we would purchase them from Bellman Chrysler at $25,535 per unit. It's about $600 more than the state bid. However, in talking with Bellman Chrysler, we've gotten absolutely outstanding customer service. They're much, much closer than Jeff City, where we would have to go pick them up from the state bid. And they're going to throw in a wiring harness as part of their price that they've bid, which will allow the installer of the emergency equipment to hook up easier.
Is there any questions on
Now, those 2 replacing 2 or 2
Yes,
new?
they'll take 2 of our oldest ones out of the fleet to replace.
How many do we have parked at the cemetery now, do you know?
Should be 2 or 3 up there, I think. They're just waiting disposition.
that? Any questions on the bid?
I'll make a motion, we accept the Bellman Chrysler bid for patrol cars for the police department.
Second?
Motion made by Alderman Shelby, seconded by Alderman Costello. Roll call vote.
Alderman Costello?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Delloy?
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with 1 absent.
Chief, is this the Bellman dealership in Troy?
Yes, sir.
Portions.
The next item I have is I have 2 policies for your approval. The first, bias-based policing, is a revision, and we changed, if I can get my Dropbox to go up. We changed 1 sentence to indicate under the training paragraph that we also have to include legal updates. But since we changed the language, we have to get approval.
Okay.
And the second one would be commission cards. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a formal explanation of our commission cards and procedures to follow if it's lost or stolen.
So as a commission card, somebody from the public would normally see, other than just asking to see it? So if an officer pulls them up,
Someone requesting your identification, that's what you would show them.
that's what you would show?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the following bias-based policing and commission card policies.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderman Costello. Roll call vote.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Costello?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent.
And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bills to ordinance. I will entertain a motion for the first reading of bill number 67-18.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Deloy, seconded by Alderman Shell Harvey.
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to sign the Second Amendment to Services Contract between the City of Warrenton, Missouri and Meridian Waste Missouri LLC to renew services for refuse and yard waste collection only.
I'll entertain a motion for the second reading and passage of bill number 67-18.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Costello, seconded by Alderman Miller.
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to sign the Second Amendment to Services Contract between the City of Warrenton, Missouri and Meridian Waste Missouri LLC to renew services for refuse and yard waste collection only.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Miller?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Shell Harvey?
Yes.
Alderman Costello?
Yes.
Alderman Ock?
Yes.
Bill passes 5-0 with one absent. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second?
Motion made by Alderman Shelby, seconded by Alderman Costello. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are so adjourned.
Half hour.
That's not bad. See, we're talking about election.
Tell us the